Let's see. Okay, I can see that we are recording. So last time I was explaining to you what is inside the certificate. So what we are going to do, we are going to continue, we are going to review that, and we are going to do a practice at the same time. So I'm going to download the certificate first. For example, a certificate of Cisco. So there is a link here where I can download some certificates, but don't worry, there are certificates everywhere in the internet. So when you want to do a practice, you just download the certificate from the internet. So here in this website, there are several certificates. Let me see this one. Okay, this one is Google. This one is Cisco. Let me download one of Cisco. So I'm going to save it. Let me bring it here. It is in the download directory by default. Okay. So it's a zip file that I downloaded. So I'm going to unzip it. Okay. And I don't know if it's in which format. It can be in PEM format or it can be in DAIR format. There is the binary format. So let me check if it is in PEM format, which is base64. Okay, as you can see, it's not in the PEM format, it's in the DAIR format. So when I want to see a certificate, OpenSSL have a tool that is called, have a command that is called X509. So X509 is related to certificate. So I'm going to say that the input form, I can put here PEM if it's a PEM. If by default, if I don't specify the input form, the form of the input, it will be PEM. So I need to put that only when it's not PEM. In this case, it's a DAIR format. So I'm forced to specify that it's a DAIR format. And I'm going to specify what is the input file is cisco.cre for certificate. And I'm going to say, I want to see it on the screen in text. So it's quite long. So I'm going to put a less at the end. Let me increase the font size so you can see it better. So we will have this window, and let me open another window where we will see what are the part of the certificate, and we are going to observe them and discuss them. So okay, so look, you can go to the RFC 5280. You will have all the information of a certificate. Here we are seeing a certificate. So here they say the first thing that you will find in a certificate is the version. We have been using version 3 for a while. So any certificate that you download today, it will be version 3. So as you can see, OpenSecureCell tell me we are using version 3. So another field that you will find in a certificate that is mandatory is the serial number. So the serial number of this certificate is this one. So remember, I can see that VeriSign was the one that emit the certificate. VeriSign, every time that it emit a new certificate, have to increase the serial number. So it doesn't emit two certificates with the same serial number. So all the certificates that emit VeriSign have to have a different serial number. So if you want to call VeriSign to talk about a certificate, they will ask you what is the serial number, because the serial number will identify a certificate in a unique way. Like, for example, a social security number identify a citizen here in the USA. No? After, you can see we have the signature algorithm. So here, to sign the certificate, VeriSign did a fingerprint, a digital fingerprint with the SHA-1 function, and then encrypt with its private key using the reverse Charmy-Adelman algorithm, as you can see. Okay, so this is the information of how this certificate was signed. Then, so here they say example, possible example are SHA-1 or SHA-256. In this case is SHA-1. Then we have the issuer who emit the certificate. So in this issuer, you will mainly find C for country. So the issuer is in the US. So sometimes you find ST for state. They decided not to specify the state, maybe because they have representation in several states. So they decided not to put the state. It's always optional. Then the O stands for organization. So the organization is VeriSign Inc. OU stands for organization unit. So VeriSign Trust Network. For example, at JSU, the organization will be Jacksonville State University. And if we want a certificate for the MCIS department, the organizational unit will be the MCIS department, okay? I can see that they put another organizational unit, that's fine. And this is a common name. So the common name is VeriSign Class 3 Secure CA for certification authority G3. So this is who signed, which means that Cisco system pay VeriSign to emit this certificate. Then we have two dates. The certificate is not valid before this date. So as you can see, we have a date and a time. It's not valid before July 10, 2012 at midnight, and is valid until July 11, 2013. Of course, it's an expired certificate just before midnight, as you can see. It will be 11:59 minutes, 59 seconds when it loses its validity. Of course, this certificate is not used anymore. Then after the valid from and valid to, as you can see here, we just saw, we have the subject. So VeriSign emit this certificate for who? So let's see who is the subject here. Subject, country, US, state, ST state, California. Location, which is city, or for example, location can be Jacksonville. Jacksonville is not a city, it's a town. So location is where is the company or the headquarters of the company. In the case of Cisco system, it's San Jose. What is the organization? Cisco system. What is the organization unit? So they put here AFS. I don't know what it stands, but it's a unit in Cisco. And we have the canonical, the common name. So the common name is www.cisco.com. So this is very important. Your browser will look at the common name. So when you connect to www.cisco.com, your browser will go in the subject and look in the common name, the URL. And your web page will, when it say the communication is secure, it means it's secure with this URL. So this certificate, for example, cannot use for jsu.edu because it's a certificate for this URL, for this site, which belongs to Cisco system. So remember that a certificate is a secure way to share a public key. So of course, the public key of Cisco system must be inside the certificate. So as you can see, after the subject, here we have a subject, what we will find is the public key. So let's see, we have the public key, the information of the public key. So they use reverse Shamir Adelman, the one that we have seen so far. At this time, the recommendation was 1024 bits. Today it's not 1024 bits anymore, it's 2048. So at this time they use the recommendation. So remember, public key have two integers, n, the modulus, which is the product of two prime number. As you can see, it have 1024 bits. And the public exponent, generate the public exponent in all the certificate that you will see is 65,537. So what does it mean? If you are able to factorize this number, Cisco will have problem because you were able to factorize this number. So as you know, it's supposed that we don't have the computing power to factorize this number, at least at this time. Maybe today it's not that secure that we don't have the computing power. Maybe some government do have the computing power to factorize that, but I'm pretty sure those computers will not factorize that in a reasonable amount of time. They will take hundreds of years to do that. So it's just a way to say that don't do it because you are going to use your time. Okay, so after the public key, another thing that is important is the subject alternative name. So let's see, it is there. Subject alternative name just after the public key, as you can see. So Cisco wants to use this digital certificate for its web server when you type www.cisco.com. But also you can just type cisco.com. And also it will cover cisco-image.cisco.com. So any of these three websites or any of these three URL will be covered by this certificate. So your browser will look in the subject, it will look the common name here. And it will also look the subject alternative name here. So this certificate covers any of these four sites. As you can see, this one and this one is the same. So it's three different sites that is covered by this certificate. So then we have the key usage. So let's see what they say after that. Okay, we have the policies. So let me see if we have the policies here also before. So it might be in order here. Okay, we have the policies and we have, for example, the key usage. So the key usage is what can be this key used for. So for example, this key can be used for digital signature. So which means that your browser needs to be sure that cisco.com is really cisco.com. So this digital certificate that we will use between the browser and the web server allow your browser to ask cisco.com to prove its identity. Okay, and also this certificate can be used for key uncipherment. We will see what they mean by that. Then we have the certificate revocation list. Certificate revocation list. What is the certification revocation list? So that was the old method to, let's say, when you have a security problem in your business and you think that they stole your private key, you cannot keep your certificate, which is the public key that is with other information. You have to revoke your certificate. So let's say, for example, in this case, Cisco did contact VeriSign, as you can see. So if Cisco think that the certificate have been compromised, Cisco have to call VeriSign or to contact VeriSign and tell VeriSign, please revoke the certificate, because the certificate might be still available, might be still in the range of date. This is not the case anymore for this certificate, but let's say that it was still in the range of date. Let's say that it will expire in 6 months. I need to take action because I know that my private key associated with this certificate have been compromised. So I need to revoke. So how the revocation system work at this time? So in the certificate, you will find a URL. You see, that's end with certification revocation list. So you will go to this URL and it will be a file. And this file is also signed by DigiCert. And what you have, a list of serial number that were revoked. So when you want to revoke your certificate, you contact DigiCert. DigiCert is going to ask you, what is your serial number? You are going to give your serial number. And in this web page, Cisco DigiCert is going to put the serial number of your certificate that you want to revoke. So which means that your browser, before it believes the certificate, will go to this list of serial number that have been revoked. if the serial number of your certificate appear in the list of revoked certificate, your browser will not make the connection with the site because there is an issue. The site should not give you a certificate that have been revoked. So you understand what is the revocation list? And we will see. I have some example of certification revocation list. We'll see that for each certificate, there are two data, sorry. The serial number of the certificate that was revoked and the date it was revoked. So you know which date the company decided to revoke its certificate. So we don't use the certification revocation list anymore because we realized that the file was very big. So every time that you will connect to a different site, your browser, before using the certificate, will have to check if the certificate have not been revoked. To do that, it will have to download the certification revocation list of the certification authority, for example, of DigiCert. And it was a big file. For example, it was a file of 20 megabytes. So for every connection that you make in a different site, you will have to download this file. So at the end, they realized that it was not a good idea to have a certification revocation list, and they changed it to something that is called OCSP. OCSP is a protocol. It stands for Online Certificate Status Protocol. So it's much smaller, and instead of downloading a list of all the certificates that are being revoked, you will ask the OCSP server, is this certificate with this serial number is still valid? And the OCSP server will just answer, yes, it's valid. It have not been revoked. So it's a little better than when we were using a CRL for certification revocation list. So look here, we will have in the certificate, oh yeah, it is. So you see, we have a field that is called Authority Information Access. And here I make it, I make the reference of both the CRL list and the Authority Information Access with the OCSP protocol. So this is the place that I need to contact through the OCSP protocol to verify that the certificate have not been revoked. But now we do it with OCSP. We don't do it anymore with certification revocation list. Okay, so there is something that is important, the certificate policy. So I'm going to come over the certificate policy in a few minutes. So it's when you pay a company like DigiCert to get a certificate, you have different level of service. So you can ask for a level that is called domain validate, where the only thing that is going to do the certification authority is to validate your domain. So for example, let's say that I'm the owner of jsu.edu and I do domain validate. The only thing that is going to do DigiCert is be sure that I am in control of the domain that is called jsu.edu. But they are not going to check if physically we do have installation, if physically we did register with the state of Alabama, any business, legal business, they are not going to check that. This is the lower level. Some certification authority do that for you for free, or they will charge very low fee to do that because the verification at the end is not deep. So you have a second level of verification that is called organization validated. So there you pay a little more, organization validated. So when you do organization validated, is like I was telling you last time, DigiCert will come, will verify that you are in possession or you control the domain. For example, jsu.edu. But DigiCert will also require that you provide some legal document of the creation of the business, of the creation of the entity. So it will ask JSU, can you provide a document of creation of the university, that the university is in I don't have any problem, low problem, etc., etc. So there is a level of validation that is a little higher. And there is a third level of validation, which is much, much more expensive. That is called extended validated. In extended validated, they do all the check that they do in the organization validated, but they also come in the place. They check your physical address. They check a lot of things. So the level of validation is much, much, much higher. It takes longer, much longer to get an extended validation. Okay, so this number that is here, the policy, say what kind of validation did we pay? So it gives you information about, for example, when you connect to Amazon, you don't doubt about Amazon. But let's say that you are looking for something and you find a web page that have a price that is much lower than Amazon. You might be say, oh, let me save some $20. I buy it in this web page. So through the certificate, you can have some information about this organization. Is this organization a physical address? It's very important because maybe you want to save some money, but if you have problem with what you buy, Amazon is there and will definitely answer to all your query. But those kind of signs that are very cheap, they many times they don't have phone number, so you cannot call them. And when they say write an email, they don't give you the email address. They give you some field that you fill, and you send the email. You don't even know to who you send the email. So this is very important at the end to know, hey, okay, I'm going to buy something. I'm going to give these people my credit card number. I want to be sure these people have been through a certain level of validation, that there is an entity that went there and verified that the business is legal, that the business don't have big legal issue, because of course every business have legal issue, because there are always customers that will sue the company. I can tell you Amazon must have thousands of lawsuits in this moment that they are resolving, but they are resolving them. They put the face. I can tell you that there are many businesses that you don't even know if they exist in the US, because many of those companies are not American company, are China company. So they say very cheap, but when you have a problem, you don't see anybody. Nobody will answer any question about your problem. Okay, so what else we have here? Okay, of course, we need a signature. So you see, this is the signature of the digital certificate. So it was signed with the private key of DigiCert. So as you can see, because DigiCert use SHA-1, we have this information previously, to get a fingerprint, a digital fingerprint of the certificate, and then encrypt it with its private key. So what I can do is, since I have the public key of DigiCert, I can verify this signature. And if I verify this signature, the test say yes, it was signed by the private key of DigiCert, I can be sure that this certificate is legal. Okay, it's not a fake certificate, and I can trust in it. Okay. Did you understand how it's works? So let me show you. We are going to go to a web page. For example, which web page do we want to visit? And we are going to see its certificate. JSU? Okay, let's verify JSU. So jsu.edu. So as you will see, today, most of the people use, I think we have a problem because we are in a network that don't accept JSU. all the other room will access JSU, but this one is outside the firewall, so we cannot access JSU from here. Okay, give me another one. Do we? Can we? I think from this computer I did access JSU, no? Let me see. Yeah, so why it doesn't access JSU? I don't have internet. No, I just, okay, I don't know. Wow, this took a long time. No, so we do have access at JSU here. So look, you see here, HTTPS, HTTP secure, and you see this padlock? It say that I'm sure I'm connected with JSU. So how can we see the certificate of JSU? So you click on the padlock, and here you will see connect. That will depend on the browser, but in this browser, I go here in connection secure. I go here in more information. So you see JSU did business with GoDaddy. GoDaddy is another company that offer hosting, and it also offer, it's a certification authority. So I'm going to more information, and here you see in security, in the tab security, we have a button that is called view certificate. So it will show me the certificate in a window, so the presentation will be a little better. So let me download this certificate. So there is a button here to download it in PEM format. So I'm going to download it, save, and I'm going to see this certificate with OpenSSL at the same time. So I just download it, so it will be in the download directory. Download on JSU edu PEM. I put it in this directory. And how do I see it? With OpenSSL X509. So it's a PEM format, so I don't need to say what is the input form. So I'm just going to put the name as an input, and I want to see it as a text, no out. Okay, so this is the way that OpenSecure Shell visualizes it, and this is the way that the browser that I'm using, which is Firefox, will show me the certificate. So I want first to find the version. So look at Firefox show the version here. It says this is version 3. And here we can see it's version 3. All the certificates that are around today are version 3. Okay, we are not using version 1 and version 2 anymore. So another information that Firefox show me is the serial number. So as you can see, we have the serial number. Remember, this serial number have to be unique for GoDaddy. GoDaddy cannot emit two certificates with the same serial number. But this serial number can exist in another certification authority. For example, DigiCert can have this serial number, but each certification authority can use a serial number just one time for a certificate. So then we have information of how GoDaddy signed the certificate of JSU. So they use for the digital fingerprint, they use SHA-256, and they use also RSA, which is based on factorizing to prime number. So who is the issuer? The issuer is going to be GoDaddy. So here we will find the information, issuer name. So as you can see, GoDaddy is based in the USA. We find the same information here. Country, USA. State, ST state, Arizona. Arizona, as you can see. L is location, Scottsdale. Organization, GoDaddy.com. Organization.godaddy.com, Inc., as you can see. Then we have the organization unit that put a web page here, as we can see here. And the command name is GoDaddy Secure Certificate Authority G2, as we can see it here. So of course, both tools show me the certificate the same way. Then we have the validity of the certificate. So the validity was emitted, it started to be validated on March 14, 2022, and it will expire on April 15, 2023 at 3:45 p.m. 32 seconds, which means that it's only like another month on some days. So if you come in 2 months, you can be sure that this certificate will not be there anymore. Okay, so then we have the subject. This certificate was emitted by GoDaddy for who? So let's see the subject. The subject is JSU, of course. It is in the USA. The state, ST, is Alabama. The location is Jacksonville. The organization is Jacksonville State University. They didn't put organization unit, so we can use this certificate for all the sites that we have at JSU, apparently. So let me show you here. Here is the subject name. So it will be the same information. And the common name, which is important. The common name is very important. So this certificate will cover anything.jsu.edu. As you can see, they put a star. So for example, anything.jsu.edu. For example, our department have a web page. It starts with MCIS. So it is covered by this certificate. And if you go to mcis.jsu.edu, it will download the exact same certificate. Okay, because this certificate covers anything.jsu.edu. So it will, of course, cover mcis.jsu.edu. So other things that are important will be, for example, okay, this is the signature. So as you can see, we use 2048 bits today. This is the modulus. So remember, this is the multiplication of 2 prime number. So if you reach to factorize this number as 2 prime number, you are very good. And here we have the public exponent, which is normally always 65,537. No? So let's see, for example, the other fields that are important. So here I want to see the usage of the certificate. So this certificate can be used for digital signature. So when your browser connect with jsu.edu, your browser, your jsu.edu have to prove that it is jsu.edu. So this function is covered here. And key encipherment, I'm going to talk about it a little after. So the certificate do have a revocation list. I can go to this URL, but this revocation list might be empty because today we don't use revocation list anymore. Let me go and try to download this revocation list to see if so you can see it's tell me I'm going to download the file. Look at it, it's very small. If it did have a lot of serial number, the file will be much bigger. So let me save it. And we can look at what is inside. So we will look at what is inside, but we should have the serial number and the date of revocation of all certificates that have been revoked. But we don't use really that anymore. What we use is OCSP, which is Online Certificate Status Protocol. So we will find the information of OCSP. It is there. So if you want to verify this certificate through OCSP, this is the URL that you have to contact. And there is an OCSP server. You can ask the OCSP server, is this certificate have been revoked or no? Does JSU revoke this certificate? Okay, so let's see this number. This is the policy. So look at what I wrote here about the policy. If the number is 223.140.122, which is there, it is an organization validated. So JSU did pay GoDaddy some money to verify, to emit the certificate. So GoDaddy not only verified that we own the domain, but they did ask JSU to provide some legal documents about the creation, about the legality of the business in this moment. Okay, so it's not the highest level that JSU did pay, but it's a good level. It's not, they just verified, they didn't just verify that we own the domain. They verified much more, as you can see, because we did organization validated. Let me see what else we have here. Okay, so look at the subject alternate name. They repeat the same, star.jsu.edu. So we cover whatever.jsu.edu, and we cover also jsu.edu. Okay, so we cover, for example, mcis.jsu.edu, or we cover jsu.edu. So any site that you log that have something.jsu.edu will download this certificate, will connect through this certificate. Okay, and here is the signature. It will be the same signature that we can see here. Okay, here, let me see, where is the signature here? Okay, this is the signature. So this is the signature when it's already decrypted. And this is the signature without decryption. Okay, so since we have the public key of GoDaddy, we can decrypt that and go here. So the browser did it for us. But the browser, the only thing that we want to know when we connect to JSU, we want to see this padlock close, and sometimes the browser will give you a warning, will say, hey, be careful, don't connect to this website because there is a problem with the certificate. So read this, because now you know about what the browser wants to warn you about. So for example, it can tell you the certificate is expired. If the certificate is expired, it's very strange. For example, if you connect to your bank, Bank of America should not have a certificate that is expired. So if you connect to Bank of America and your browser say the certificate of Bank of America is expired, you should say, I'm not connecting to Bank of America. It's impossible that Bank of America have a certificate that is expired, because they will take care of that, because they know that they manage a lot of money and they don't want to be in problem. Okay, let's go, for example, to the one of Bank of America. So I'm going to connect. So look at. So Bank of America even warned me, okay, you are using a browser that is either old or I don't support. So you can see the padlock is there. So I go here. The certificate was emitted. It was emitted for Bank of America, I can see, but we don't know who, or it was interest. Bank of America pay interest to validate, to create a certificate for them. So let me show you the certificate of Bank of America. We will find that data that we already know. For example, let's see the version. So the version is 3. The serial number is this one. They use SHA-256 to get the fingerprint, and they sign with a private key that was generated with the RSA algorithm. So let's see who is the issuer, who did the certificate. So the certificate, the issuer is in the USA. It's called Entrust, which is a very famous certification authority. And the common name, for example, of the certification authority is Entrust Certification Authority. That's fine. Look at the validity of the certificate. Most of the certificate that this company will emit are valid for 1 year, and then they renew their certificate, most of them. Maybe 2 years, some company will have 2 years. So as you can see, this one will expire on October 12, 2023 at 8 o'clock in the night, as you can see. Okay, so let's see who is the subject. This certificate was emitted for a business that is in the US. The main quarter is in the state of Illinois, in the city of Chicago. And as you can see, the organization name is Bank of America Corporation. And the common name is www.bankofamerica.com. So this certificate will cover www.bankofamerica.com, but it also covers bankofamerica.com. How we can check that? That it also covers bankofamerica.com. Because you can write, when you write in your URL, some of you will put www.bankofamerica.com. Others will just put bankofamerica.com. So the certificate that to cover both. Here it says it's cover www.bankofamerica.com. Where should I go to find all the DNS name that it will cover? So there is a subject alternative name. So if I search for the subject alternative name, look, it's cover www.bankofamerica.com. It's cover, okay, they have a business that is called Mary Edge. If you want to invert money. So they use the same certificate for Mary Edge, as you can see, but it's covered also mobile.bankofamerica.com, small business online community.bankofamerica.com. So all these sites that you will connect will download the same certificate because this certificate covers all this URL, as you can see. Okay, so let me show you what is a certification revocation list, because we have been talking about the certification revocation list. So I did download some. Oh, we just download one, and we are pending to see it. So I'm going to use Open Secure Cell to see the certification revocation list. Before I do that, it was the certification revocation list of, so it is in the download folder. Let me bring it here. Download. Okay, this is the one that I download. Let me see which format it is because we don't know. So it's binary. So what is this format? If it's binary. Remember, we can have two formats. What are the formats? PEM and DER, DER and PEM. So this is a DER format. So I'm going to say Open Secure Shell, Open SSL, sorry, that I have a certification revocation list. It's not a certificate, it's a certification revocation list. It has different fields. Okay, I have a certification revocation list. The input form is there. It's not the PEM format, it's the DER format. The input file is this file, and I want to see it as a text on the screen. So let's see. The certification revocation list will be signed by DigiCert. It was emitted by DigiCert, this one. So look at what we have. This is a certification revocation list. The version is 2. To sign this certification revocation list, we use to make the digest or the digital fingerprint. We use SHA-256 that we encrypt with RSA. So who is the issuer? The issuer is in the USA, in Arizona, in a locality that is called Scottsdale, and the issuer, as you can see, is GoDaddy. This is still valid. It will be valid until March. So they have a last update. Okay, they don't have a, they have a last update, and they have a last update, next update. So you see the difference, for example, the other one have don't use before, don't use after. So this one have a last update on next update. Okay, so this is a self-signed certification revocation list. It was generated by GoDaddy and signed by GoDaddy. So look at, if I go there, look at what we have here is a series of certificates that have been revoked. So this certificate with this serial number have been revoked on May 3, 2022. So these certificates with this serial number have been revoked on May 14, 2022. So as you will see, up to the end of the file, we will just find that two data. The serial number of the certificate that have been revoked and the date that have been revoked. So if I keep going, you see the same thing. So because this is a certification revocation list. So this file in the past, well, we have quite some certificates that have been revoked here that don't use the, oh, we could count them. You see, wow, there is quite some. I thought it will be empty, but it is not, which means that maybe some company want to have, when they revocate, they want to have it in the certification revocation list, but you can also check it with OC online certification, online certificate statute OCSP. You can check it with OCSP, you know? So as you can see, let me go up to the end of the file. It will be just that. Wow. Okay, this is the end of the file. So look, we have, of course, the signature, GoDaddy signed that, and we have the last certificate that was revoked. So you have the serial number, the date. Oh, you have also a reason of why it was revoked. So cessation of operation, a business that closed. So of course, if your business closed, you have to revoke your certificate. So I don't think that somebody will put a reason like they stole my private key. They might have an option say, I don't want to say why, but they stole my private key. Here there is a reason that says privilege withdrawn. I don't know what it means exactly, but most of them say cessation of operation, as you can see, no? Okay, superseded, which means that they have a new certificate. Okay, so that's the reason why they decided to do that. Now, let me show you something. We are going to use Wireshark. We are going to put in Wireshark. You are familiar with Wireshark, isn't it? I'm going to capture the OCSP protocol. Oh, this is the interface. I'm sorry. It's not here that I should put that. So let me stop capturing. And I'm going to, because we are a long capture, I'm going to say just capture the OCSP protocol. So let me connect to a site. For example, let's connect to mit.edu. You will see that we will capture some traffic of OCSP. Look, you see the traffic of OCSP that we capture? So let me show you. So here, my browser need to verify that the certificate that give me the web browser is not revoked. So my browser did generate that and went to this IP address went to this IP address that belonged to well, it will belong to the company that certified the MIT and ask, is this certificate revoked? And they say no, because my browser didn't put any problem to show me the web page of the MIT. So let me explain you how it's work when you connect to a web page. So let's say you put in your browser www.bankofamerica.com. So at the very beginning, the communication is not encrypted. So your browser contact Bank of America and your browser tell the web browser of Bank of America, hey, I would like to have a secure communication with you. Do you support that? So your browser asks that to the web browser, to the web server of Bank of America. So the web browser of Bank of America answer to your browser. Sure, I do support that. This is the list of methods that I support. So it will give a list of methods that the web server support. So what do you think that will be the next step? So let me start again. Please don't look your computer. The action is here. So you type in your browser www.bankofamerica.com. So the first thing that your browser do is contact Bank of America, but this communication is not encrypted. It's not secure at all. Contact Bank of America and ask the web browser, the web server. Hey, web server of Bank of America, I would like to make a secure communication with you. Do you support that? So that's the web browser to the web server. So the web server reply, sure, I support secure communication. And it gives a list of methods, because we can use several methods to establish the secure communication. We can use RSA, but we can use other. For example, we have this ElGamal. We have a bunch of them, and we have a bunch of algorithms. So Bank of America says, sure, I support secure communication, and this is the list of methods that I support. So what will be the next step? What do you think your browser is going to say to Bank of America? What do you think your browser is telling to Bank of America at this point? When you see the list of secure methods that the web server supports. So your web server pick one that it also supports. We need to choose one that we both support. So pick one that is support in the list that Bank of America proposed. The web server of Bank of America proposed a list. So your server, your web client, pick one. And it say to the web server of Bank of America, okay, I pick this method. But it doesn't finish there, the conversation. It also say, can you prove me your identity? This is the good part. Can you prove me your identity? So say, okay, I want to do the communication with you using this method, but I want you to prove that you are Bank of America. So what do you think the web server is going to answer? Exactly, sure. This is my certificate. So Bank of America send a certificate to your web browser. So your web browser received the certificate of Bank of America. Can your web browser believe the certificate right away? No. So what do you think the web browser is going to do before it can say, oh, this certificate is authentic? Because it can be an imposter that answer, sure, I am the web server of Bank of America. I support this method. Choose the method that you want, and I give you a fake certificate. Can be an imposter. So your web browser, when you receive the certificate, what should it do? What? Okay, verify doing what? What? We have seen the field of the certificate. So a certificate of, let me show you a certificate again. I feel like that, validity. So of course your web browser is going to check, are these two dates? Are the day of today is between these two dates? Because of course, if the certificate say you cannot use me before, let's say, March 2023, this certificate should not be used because they say you cannot use it before this date. So of course, I check that the date of today is between the not before and not after. Let's say that I pass this validation. The certificate is actual. What else should I do? I'm the web browser. I just validate okay, the certificate is in a correct range of dates. What else should I do? Because if it's not the correct range of date, I don't believe the site. You are not going to give me a certificate that is not in the correct range of date. I don't believe you. You are not Bank of America. So your web browser will give you a warning saying, the certificate is not valid because it's not in the current date range of date. Okay, so what else you think we should verify? So this certificate may be a certificate that was belonging to Bank of America, and Bank of America, for one reason or another reason, decided to revoke. So what should your browser do? And I just show it here to you. Through the OCSP protocol, your browser will contact, because in the certificate, there is information to whom we need to contact to verify that the certificate is still valid. So look, here, they say that we need to contact this place. This certificate is emitted by Entrust, for example. We need to contact this place to talk with the OCSP server to check that the certificate had not been revoked. So your browser, through that talk OCSP with this OCSP server, and it tell it, hey, I just received this certificate with this serial number. Can you tell me if it has been revoked? Yes or no? So the OCSP server will answer, no, it has not been revoked. So go ahead, use it. Okay, what else should we do? So we check the validity date. We check that it has not been revoked. What do you think the browser should do? So can I trust this certificate? Somebody just give me this certificate. Can I trust it? So this certificate is signed. I need to verify the signature because any entity can give me a certificate. So I need to verify the signature. So look at the signature is inside the certificate, and it was signed in this case by the private key of Entrust. So I need the public key of Entrust. And with the public key of Entrust, what I'm going to do? I'm going to take a digital fingerprint of the certificate. So Entrust put a digital fingerprint encrypted with its private key to show that it signed it. So I'm going to use the public key of Entrust and decrypt the digital certificate, the signature that come inside the digital certificate. If the one that I compute is the same that I decrypt, it means that it's a valid certificate. The signature is valid. So you will tell me, okay, so very good. Now I'm sure that this is Bank of America, for example, but I need the public key of Entrust because I need a secure way to have the public key of Entrust. So this is another problem that we are going to see. We have a secure way to have the public key of Entrust because, of course, this PKA, this is called PKA, public key infrastructure, was developed to distribute public key in a secure way. So, of course, if to prove that the public key of Bank of America is legal, I need also the public key of GoDaddy because the one of Bank of America was emitted by GoDaddy. I need to be sure that GoDaddy, the one that I have of GoDaddy is also the correct one. If the one of GoDaddy that I have is the correct one, and I verify the signature of GoDaddy inside the certificate of Bank of America, I'm sure that I am with Bank of America. So let's go back to the certificate of Bank of America. We have it here. So And here we were doing another one, no? Yeah. So look at Bank of America have been signed by this intermediate certification authority. And this intermediate certification authority have been signed by this root certification authority. So to verify the certificate of Bank of America, I do need the certificate of Entrust Certification Authority. And to verify this certificate, I need the certificate of Entrust Root Certification Authority. So what happened? That when you install Windows, or when you install a web browser, or when you install Debian, the operating system comes with some root certification authority already. So let me show you, for example, in Windows, how you can see the certificate that are shipped with Windows 10. So we have a tool that is called Cert Manager. I just run Cert Manager. And if I go here, Trusted Root Certification Authority, and I open certificate, all these certificates, when you install Windows, are automatically there. So look at, you see GoDaddy is there, the one that we use. So which means that I am in the US. So Microsoft, when Microsoft sell me Windows, it do put some certificate of certification, root certification authority already in the operating system. So this, I didn't get them from the internet. Microsoft is very cautious about putting those certificates there because they know what is the consequence if they make a mistake. Okay, so look at, for example, you will see some name that you already know. DigiCert. Of course, Microsoft will put DigiCert. Microsoft will put Entrust, which is a very important certification authority in the US. Global Sign, another very important. Of course, Microsoft will put its, because Microsoft is also a certification authority, it will put its certificate also. So VeriSign is there, as you can see. So as you can see, we already have a list of root certification authority. So what happened when I want to verify the certificate of, let's do it here because I'm in the Windows machine in this moment. Let's do again, Bank of America, bankofamerica.com. So of course, as you can see, I have the padlock that is closed. So I'm going to say connection secure, more information, and see the certificate. So to verify the certificate of Bank of America, I need the certificate of Entrust Certificate Authority L1M. So let's see what we have about Entrust here. So we have Entrust Certification Authority. Entrust Certification Authority G2. So we have this one. So you see we have this one. So this one I didn't download it from the internet. So maybe this one, I don't see it in the list. So maybe this one we downloaded from the internet. So it was also emitted by Entrust. But since we have already this one in our computer, and we believe in this one because it was put by Microsoft, with this one, we can verify the signature of this one. This is also Entrust. This is an intermediate certification authority. When we validate that this one is a valid certificate, we can validate the one of Bank of America. So you understand how it's work? So at the end, I'm pretty sure that I'm connected with Bank of America when I see that. When I see the padlock. Because unless you have a, let's say, you download a suspicious version of Windows from the internet because you didn't want to buy the license. And the people that put this suspicious version of Windows are hackers, and they'll alterate the root certification authority. They add themselves as a root certification authority, or they change the root certification authority of Entrust and they put themselves. Your computer is going to connect with the fake Entrust because you download a pirate, illegal copy of Windows from a site of people that want to do damage to the community, and they did alter that. But if you have a legal copy, you will not have problem like that. So let me show you that when you install a web browser, the web browser also comes with a list of root certification authority. So for example, let's see. So the one that I just showed you, it was at the level of Windows. Now I'm going to show you, for example, at how we do it at the level of for example, okay, of Firefox. Those are the steps to see it in Firefox. So here I am in Firefox, and I want to see the root certification authority that come automatically with Firefox. So I open this hamburger menu, they call it the hamburger menu. Then I go to privacy and security. I go to setting first, sorry. And here in the tab, we have privacy and security. And I search for security. History, adbare, permission, security. And here we have view certificates. So look at all those certificates when you install Firefox are additional root certificates. So of course, you will find the big company that we have in the US for certification authority. So you will find for this, for example, here they have Amazon. So you saw that in Microsoft did not put Amazon. Let me go back to Microsoft. Maybe I opened that in the same operating system, so we don't have to. So here I am in Firefox. So if I want to see the list, what I do, I go to the hamburger menu, setting. Here I go to privacy and security, and I search for security where it is. Security, view certificate, and authority. Oh, it was not, it was in server, in authority. So for example, here we can see that they have Amazon that was added by Firefox. But if I look at the level of Windows, the people of Bill Gates didn't put Amazon. You see, there is no Amazon here. But the guy of Firefox decided to put Amazon. Of course, the people that develop Firefox, we pay them. The people of Amazon have to pay them for them to put the certificate of Amazon, the root certificate of Amazon. So we have Amazon, but we will have all the big company like Entrust, like VeriSign, like DigiCert. So this is Komodo, Dtrust, I don't know those. DigiCert is here. So it's here and it's here also. Of course, DigiCert is a very important certification authority. So Microsoft put it, but Firefox also put it. And we can look in Google. Google has a list of, so you can see all these certificates of DigiCert. So if we continue, we will find the one of Entrust, of course, very big company in the USA. Global Sign, very big company of certification authority. VeriSign will be there. So if I continue toward the end, we will see VeriSign, no? So here I'm in S, T, U. Okay, VeriSign is there, as you can see. So in Linux also, when you install Linux, it's come with a set of digital certificates. So let's say that I want to see the digital certificate of Linux, the one that are automatically installed when I have the operating system. So where do I find them? So of course, since it's Linux, it's more text-oriented, it's more command-oriented. So I'm going to find the files. So the files will be here in user share CA certificate Mozilla for the one of, user share CA certificate Mozilla. So look at the certificate that we have. Those are the certificates. So as you can see, let me go from the beginning to see them. So we have some of Amazon. So as you can see, Debian put some of Amazon. Debian, of course, is going to put DigiCert, VeriSign. Okay, the one of DigiCert are here. So you see, those I don't have to transfer them from the internet. They are already my operating system. The one of Entrust. Yeah, in the US, you cannot go over Entrust, VeriSign, DigiCert, Global Sign. So Global Sign will be here, of course. We have GoDaddy, the G2 that we saw. We will have, of course, VeriSign at the end, no, because it is there. So as you can see, we have them. So do you understand how it's work now? So let me show you. We say that we have different level of services when you contact a certification authority. You can pay more or less. They will emit the certificate that you want according to what you are going to pay. And according if you pass the verification that they do. No? So let me show you again. Where do I have that? Here. Okay, so let's see what I wrote about it. So domain validated certificate. You only, the company, the certification authority only verify that the requester have a valid control over the domain name listed in the certificate. Remember that you can list several domain names in the certificate because you list it in the canonical name of in the common name of the subject, but you have subject alternative name where you can put other DNS name. So how they do that? For example, they tell you, okay, put in your web server this web page, and I will check that it is in your web server. This is a way that they check that you control the web server. So let me show you example of business or entity that have a domain validated. So surprisingly, the NSA have just a domain validated certificate. So let's verify what I'm saying. I'm going to connect to nsa.gov, National Security Agency, which is a little surprising that the National Security Agency don't pay a little more. Maybe they don't want, I don't know. But their certificate is the lowest level that you can imagine. So let's just verify that. So here I go view certificate. Look at the certificate of NSA. It's good for the defense.gov. Let's see. It's good for all these domains. So all these domains belong to NSA. So we have nsa.gov. Here we have nsa.gov. But for example, policy.defense.gov also use the same certificate. So they save a lot of money because with one certificate, they cover different dependency of the government. No, I'm even surprised that they still do that. That was very common in the past, that they will try to save some money, and with one certificate, they will put a lot of subject alternate name like we have here, but okay. So we went here to verify what? The policy. Oh, yeah, thank you. The policy, you are right. So let's see the policy. So look at the policy. The policy is here. Policy type, no, certificate type. So 2.23.140.1.2.1. So look, when I say 2.23.140.1.2.1, this is domain validated. So example of domain validated, Amazon.com. Amazon.com don't want to pay, or they don't want somebody to investigate the company. I don't know. But Amazon.com, which is a certification authority, have their certificate that was just validated, just the domain. So python.org, I understand this is a project that live of donation, or GNU.org. This is a project that live of donation. I understand that they will use this kind of certificate, no, where they pay very little or they pay absolutely nothing. Now, example of organization validated. So remember, organization validated, look at what I wrote. The authentication authority will verify that the website is controlled by the requester and that the business of the requester is real and legitimate. For example, they will verify the address of the business, the government issued business license, etc. So there is a higher level of verification of the business. So example of entity that have organizational validated certificate, if the FBI, JSU, we just saw JSU have one, okay? eBay, USCIS. So let's go, for example, to the FBI.gov, and let's verify that their certificate is organization validated certificate. So I go to FBI.gov. Of course, look at, I have in the candle, I have a message. I'm pretty sure because the image that the FBI put it's not a big deal, but the image are not encrypted in the communication. So if my browser tell me, be careful here, it's what you want to tell me. So I'm going to say, okay, browser, thank you for warning me that there is a problem. Let's say what it say. You are not securely connected with this site. So the connection to this site is not private. Information you submit could be viewed by other. So what happened here, I think that the image are not encrypted, but the rest is encrypted. So I don't know what kind of business you will do with the FBI, but I don't think you are going to give the FBI your credit card number or your social security number. I don't think you have to deal with the FBI in your whole life, unfortunately. But with Amazon, you will deal. And with this Bank of America or any bank that you have, you will deal. So of course, it's a little more sensitive. So let's see the type of certificate that they have, and you will see. So look at certificate type 223.140.122. So look at 223.140.122 is organizational validated. So you know that the FBI did a bigger effort than the NSA. NSA didn't do any effort. Okay, now let's go, for example, of extended validated. Extended validated take weeks because the certification authority sends somebody to the company to investigate the company. It's much higher, the degree of validation. So it's when you see something that have extended validation, you feel very comfortable. So example, the CIA have one. Bank of America have one, Capital One have one, American Airlines have one. So of course they do business. They want you, if you verify their identity, they want, and you know, because you know they want to be sure that you know that they went through a very intensive process of verification. So for example, let's go to American Airlines to verify their certificate, and you will see that the certificate is an extended validated certificate. So www.americanairline. So I have the padlock. So I'm going to enter here. It says that it is verified by Entrust, which is a very important certification authority in the US. So this certificate was emitted for American Airlines Inc. It's covered this web page, but I'm pretty sure it will cover other web pages. We will see other web pages that it covers, because American Airlines have some business like American Eagles. I don't know if they have a web page for American Eagles. We will see that it's mostly, I think, covered by American Airlines also. So look at, you see American Airlines, flyaa.com, American Airline.Japan.Italy.India. Okay, they have web page in different country. So the same certificate cover, for example, this is American Airlines in South Korea, American Airlines in Chile. Okay. Okay, so as you can see, it's covered a lot, as I was telling you, because of course it's a big company. Okay, so let's see. They use a public key that is 2048 bits. This is the recommendation today. Let's see. Of course, you can verify if this certificate is still valid through OCSP, the Online Certificate Statute Protocol. But what I want to see is the policy. So the certification type is this one. So if it's 223.140.11, we go here, 223.140.11, and we can see that American Airlines have an extended validated certificate. Okay, do you have any question about this? So do you now understand how your browser is sure that when you connect to Bank of America, it does connect with Bank of America? Now, Bank of America want to be sure that you are who you pretend to be. So how do Bank of America do that? You create an account. You have a login, you have a password. In the past, that was the only authentication that Bank of America will require you. Now they use two-factor authentication. Have you noticed that? So they sent you a code in your cell phone. It's to be a little more sure that you are who you are. Because when you create your account, you go to an office of Bank of America, you give your cell phone number. So the cell phone number normally is a number that is mine forever. So if they send something to your cell phone and you are able to put it in the web page, it's a higher level of verification that you are who you are. But you see, we don't share with people don't have registered certificate because we don't want to pay that first. Can you imagine that every year you will have to pay a company to maintain your certificate? You don't want that. Okay, so we create accounts. Well, now they have this two-factor authentication, which is very good because if you lose, for example, if somebody gets your password because you write down your password and you put it in a paper close to your computer, and somebody enter your house, make a photo of the paper where you have your password, and then go to his house and connect to Bank of America. So there in the paper, you did put your login and your password. But this code that Bank of America sent with the two-factor authentication, unless the hacker also steal your cell phone, it will not be able to enter. So the two-factor authentication, not everybody use it today, but it's getting more common. I don't know, JSU have something that it send a push. When I connect to JSU now, it tell me, okay, I'm going to send you a push in your cell phone. So I have a message that appear and I have to click on the push and then it go inside. It's very nice. So it's another way to verify, oh, yeah, I do have the cell phone, so I'm who I pretend to be. Okay, so we are getting to stronger authentication because, of course, the hackers are getting better, much better all the time. So, of course, we need to protect us much better also against what the hackers are doing. Okay, let me give you an exercise. I'm going to send you a certificate. And I'm going to ask you to do with some command of Python to verify that the signature that is in the certificate is legitimate. But of course, you can use command of OpenSSL. There are command, very easy command that you can type. You give it a certificate and it will tell you the certificate is valid or not. It will do all the process that we mentioned to see if the certificate is valid. For example, it will check the dates, the range of dates. It will go through OCSP to see if the certificate have not been revoked. When you check a certificate, you have also to check the common name because the certificate is emitted for a specific business. For example, this certificate that we have here is emitted. It is valid for www.aa.com and all those names, but it's not valid for jsu.edu because jsu.edu is not in the list of subject alternative name. So of course, if you connect to jsu.edu and you receive this certificate, your browser have to tell you, doesn't work because you are connected to jsu.edu. It is not in the common name and it is not in the subject alternative name. So this certificate is not made for jsu.edu. So you have to check that, of course. But one of the other things that you have to check is that the signature, this signature that is there, where is the signature here? Fingerprint. This one is illegal. This one was done by, in this case, American Airlines contacted Entrust. So of course, in my operating system, I have the digital certificate of interest. I didn't download it from the internet. It is already there. So since I have it, let me show you. Where did we type the, oh, they are here. We have the certificate of interest. So you should be able here, they are. You should be able, using those files that are already there, look at what they say. You need the G2 of interest. We do have the G2. So we have this one already in the machine. We don't have the LM1, but since we have the G2, we can validate this one. There is a chain of certificates. And when we validate this one, we can validate the one of American Airlines. So of course, to validate this one, we will have to download this certificate because we don't have it. So we will download this certificate, but we will validate this certificate because we already have this one locally that we didn't download. So I do trust in this one because it was already in the operating system. It's either in the operating system or in the web browser when you install the web browser. Okay, let's stop here if you don't have questions, and I hope you did learn a lot. Now you understand a little more about what you are doing when you are connecting and you see those meshes